toenails and blistered heels, salt stains streaking down my face. Sun is beating, muscles scream, but I'm moving at my pace. Run the riot! Leave the world behind! Run the riot! You free your body and your mind!
All right.
All right. Today on the Run the Riot podcast, I got Melanie Mathews. What's going on, Melanie?
Hey, not too much. Hanging
Not
out,
too. Yeah.
enjoying the rest of the snow.
Yeah. How's so you're in what part of Arkansas are you?
We're down south of Hot Springs,
Oh, okay.
right
You're
by
not
Lake DeGray. So,
okay.
you know.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, so I talked to my parents this morning. They're in Hot Springs Village, and they live in
about that.
Yeah, they live in a little spot where the road goes down and it's their driveway and it goes back up. So they've been stuck. Like the road is still all ice. They haven't been able to go anywhere for about a week and a little over a week.
Yeah, I left yesterday for a little bit, but I've worked from home all week. So,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
I got a running every day, though. So that's good.
Yeah, that's good. So I haven't been, I've been doing the treadmill because everything's been so icy here, and I don't want to bust my butt.
Yeah. Well, I got yak tracks like 10 years ago. I got some,
Yeah.
and they make all the difference in the world. And so I was getting ready for the snow to come in, and I remembered at the last minute, I was like, man, mine finally broke last year on my last snow run.
Yeah.
And so I hightailed it to Hot Springs, and I got a pair at Dick's before the snow came in. And so I've run the last 7 days.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna have to get it. I don't have a set of those. I need to get some just so it, Now this morning it was like single digits and and icy and I shared with you off before we started recording the trails I wanted to run were shut down, and so I was like, I'm just gonna do the treadmill.
Yeah. I had every intention to go out for a little run this morning and then woke up not with a sore throat, so decided I probably better not.
Yeah, I know it's hard with all the mess, but well, so you and I, like we've crossed paths on a lot of Arkansas. I love running in Arkansas. I love the trails. I love the people. There's such a fantastic community out there, and I can't even. Was it Arkansas Traveler we've crossed paths on, or
at Traveler and at Love It a couple times? I think.
Okay.
I think the first year, I think you were running.
Yeah.
And then the next year, maybe you were.
I was pacing a runner I coach. Yeah. No, that's it. And so I just always love being out there, and that's a fantastic race. Love it. If anybody wants to, it's not easy, but it's good.
Yeah, and so after we're coming up on getting ready for Love It, so that's my next big thing. I'm over Hickory Nut Aid Station now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and so we have lots going on to get ready for the race.
That's cool. That's awesome. So where are you from? Are you from Arkansas originally?
No, originally I'm from Nebraska. I grew up a little farm girl.
Okay.
Driving tractor since I was 5.
It gets colder in Nebraska. Everybody I talk to in Nebraska, so you're kind of used to this junk.
I mean, I've been out of Nebraska since, oh my gosh, I think I left in 92.
Okay.
So I've been gone for a long time now. But yeah, growing up, it was cold. We ran in the snow a lot.
Okay.
I just don't miss the wind. And that's why my parents, at one point said, hey, would you ever move back and want the farm? And I'm like, I just don't think I can do that wind.
Yeah,
so,
that's what makes it like, so we were out and about today and this morning it was so cold. And Oklahoma, we have the wind too. And that's what just gets you, man. It's if it were just still, it's like, all right, I can handle this. But that wind just cuts through.
Yeah. And you don't have the trees that we have here that block. I mean, we can go get on a trail, and I know you have trails as well, but I mean, we just have so much forest here that, especially down where we live, I can go 5 minutes and I've got 30 miles of trail, so
Oh,
that's
that's so
good.
good. That's so good. I'm
Yeah.
jealous. I gotta, I gotta drive 30 miles to get to 30 miles of trail.
Well, I had to move away from my kids after they left us. We moved down here from Batesville.
Oh,
But when I
okay.
was up
Gotcha.
there, we had to drive, an hour and a half to get over to Mountain View.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
when I lived in Batesville, we had a lot of driving to get to trails. So I ran a lot of gravel roads back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's what I do here. During the week, it's all roads or treadmill when the weather's
yeah,
bad. And then the weekends is when I can go and get some dirt.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Got to make use of those weekends.
Yeah. Well, when I contacted you about the podcast, and we'll get into, some of the reason we started talking about it, but I didn't realize, when you filled out the thing that you were a good runner from a early age. And so tell me a little bit, I'm guessing it was in Nebraska. So tell me a little bit about like your running journey from as little Melanie.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't start running till they're, 20, 30, 40, whatever.
Yeah.
I started running when I was 5. I say competitively, but at little track meets,
Yeah. Yeah.
But my dad was always very, very active. And we grew up on a farm. And I don't know. I guess the biggest thing is uh, when Dad was little, he had polio. And what he told us is he got the polio that he recovered from. And
Okay.
so he had it for, I think, 6 months or so
Mm.
when he was a second grader. And so after that, he was always just really thankful that he was able to run and walk again and,
Mm.
be active. And so sports was always a very big part of his life. And so then
Yeah.
when he had kids, he made sure to stay active and do things for, with us and for us. And so Dad got us all running when we were, 4 or 5 years old. And that's how it started.
Oh,
So,
that's cool. What
mhm.
kind of farm did you grow up on?
We had cattle, lots of corn. So, lots of corn.
So
So,
did you grow up with a lot of, I don't know, farm chores?
oh yeah. I think of the kids now griping about the chores they have. And
Oh,
I just remember when it was, icy and cold like it is now, we had to go feed cattle before we caught the bus to go to school in the dark. And then do the same thing when we got back home after basketball practice. And so I just really have no sympathy for some of these kids now.
That's right. It's fun. Okay, so this conversation is on a previous podcast, Stacy Pretty, who lives here in Tulsa, she ultrarunner, and she grew up on a legit same thing farm.
Mhm.
And I said, I think I grew up in the country. We had a barn. We had, we had at one time we had cows and horses and chickens and all that. But I just said
Mhm.
farm kids are just built different. And
Mhm.
I think it's a pretty good assessment, a pretty good theme there. Grew up,
Yeah.
and she talked about having to break the ice so the cows could drink in the
Oh
morning.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And I can honestly say, like, I had a paid job when I was young
yeah.
because that's how Dad started our savings accounts.
Mm,
And so when we were little, and especially in our early teens, instead of having us go into town, Dad would kind of bribe us and say, well, I have to pay a hired man to help me haul corn. And so how about if you drive a truck for me? And so when I was, I guess I was 16 because I was driving,
yeah.
which I drove way before that,
I
but
was like, hey,
you know what I
come
mean?
on.
I've been
I grew
driving
up in the
since I was
country too.
8.
I know.
I know. Yeah, but I was driving on the roads,
Yeah.
and I was hauling corn for him one summer, and that allowed me to get off work so that we could go play summer league basketball. And so
Nice.
I remember hauling corn, and I'd have my little Walkman on, listening to music because there was no music in the truck,
It was a
and
farm truck.
it was, it was good. We made money and got to still do all the fun things we wanted to do, and
Yeah.
um, lots of lots of farm jobs that we did over the years.
That's good. I read this and I shared it with my wife. I said, if I were my daughter's age and knew her from school, I would think she was the rich kid because it's just it's so different. Why
Yeah.
we grew up having to do stuff, working and all that, and like we spoil our kids. It's like, we need to, they need to
Uh-huh.
work more.
Yep. That is true. It's true. We grew up so different.
Yeah, yeah. So in the middle of chores and living on the farm and stuff. So but you like, I know, it's a busy life doing all those things, and you have to do those every day. You got animals got to live, you got to feed them, you got to do all that. But you guys still found time you'd go out and run competitively, even as a kid. And then I didn't realize you played basketball too. And so it's a busy life, but it's pretty fulfilling,
Yeah, we did. I mean, I don't know how my parents did it. There were four of us. I had an older brother and then two younger sisters.
Mm,
And I mean, it wasn't just running and
yeah.
basketball. It was, oh my gosh. I mean, it was running, basketball, volleyball, band, played bells in church. We had piano lessons. I mean, and there was four of us that we did all this stuff. And then my brother had football and wrestling. And I mean, I don't know how they did it.
Yeah,
I
we have
mean,
one.
actually, I do. My mom, dad would work all night
Yeah.
to get stuff done so that he could go with mom to our games and track
Oh man.
meets. And yeah,
Yeah,
they always
yeah.
made time to make it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And we have one at home, left at home right now, and we're so busy with her between all the things, softball band and all that, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, how would we? I don't even know. I mean, more than that, it's so.
Uh-huh. Well,
And
the
I'm trying
hard
to.
part was, when we were old enough to play organized sports, we were still doing, like we started running these little meets, that were local in the summertime. And then as we got a little older, and this isn't old, but when I say got older, like I think 9 or 10, we joined a club from Lincoln. It was South
Okay.
Lincoln Track Club. And this was a really big track club. Back then they ran TAC and then it went to AAU.
Mm.
And so we would do these, the little track meets, but then we also did training for these bigger meets that we would go run with the Lincoln Club.
That's cool.
And I mean, we were all over the state running with them. And then, of course, you qualify for regionals and you qualify for nationals. And
You got to do it.
yeah. And so we would fit in our practices at school. And then we would come home and do our South Lincoln Track Club practice after practice.
Nice.
And, in the winter, that usually involved my mom driving behind us on the icy Nebraska roads with her lights on. And people thought we were just the craziest family. But yeah, we were out there, mom's following us on the lights for, 4 to 6 miles or whatever in the dark.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Made you tough.
Best memories though, gosh.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. So what was your, back then, as when you were young, what was your favorite, I don't know, what was your specialty in track?
Mine was probably the 2 mile. And, in summer track in AAU, it was a 3,000. It wasn't a full 2 miles.
Okay.
So,
So you were long distance on the track too.
Yeah,
long distance, yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
the older I got, I wasn't fast enough for the
Okay.
400 or the 800.
Yeah.
And then the older you get, the mile, I mean, you're just flying in a mile. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the longer it got, I realized that I could hang better. So,
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, so, you did that as a kid, and then where did life take you? You graduated. What'd you do from there?
well, I graduated. I went to school for just a little while in South Dakota.
Okay.
I was not ready to be college material at that time. And so
Yeah.
I ended up moving back to my little town, Battle Creek, Norfolk, Nebraska. And I lived there for, I think, a year. And I went out to Colorado. My brother was living in Summit County out in
Okay.
Keystone. And I went out to see him. And one of his friends got me a job interview while I was out there on vacation. I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
So I go to this job interview. I got the job. So I
Doing what?
went
What kind of
home.
job was it?
I was working at the Hilton doing front desk.
Nice. All right.
So up in Breckenridge, right off the ski resort.
Yeah.
So I went home, quit my job, moved out of my place, broke up with my boyfriend, and left.
He didn't love you. He didn't love you anyway. No.
Truth.
Just- that's good.
There's a story behind that too, but we don't.
Oh,
need to
okay.
go
I didn't
there.
know. I just.
Oh.
So yeah. So okay. You just ended up. That's I mean, beautiful. If you're going to move, move somewhere from
Yep.
flat Nebraska. I mean, Breck area is beautiful. That whole Summit County is
Oh,
nice.
and I did everything. I mean, it was music festivals, and this was back in the day when you could get into clubs and everything with a fake ID and all that stuff. And so,
Yeah.
I had some wild years out there, but I'm glad I
Gotcha.
did them then and
Yeah.
got it out of my system. So
There you go.
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how long did you live out there in Colorado?
I was out there for 6 years.
Okay.
I ended up towards the end of that time, I met a guy and I ended up having a little girl.
Okay.
And so in Breckenridge, it is just so expensive to live there.
Oh, no kidding.
I mean, it's worse now than it used to be. But when I
Yeah.
lived there, my daughter was born in Vail.
Okay.
And so, I was living there and I had 2 jobs all the time just
Wow.
to, pay for rent and daycare. And
Yeah.
so after, I think it was about a year, I ended up moving down to Denver and I got a property management job where I had free rent.
Hmm.
So, that was took care of a little bit of it. But then I was also living in the city by myself as a single mom with a little girl.
Oh yeah.
And so that was kind of tough. I did that for a year. And it was just not the right thing for a single mom where I was at. It was just,
Yeah.
oh, it was awful. And
Well,
so
and by yourself. Yeah.
yeah. And so at that
No
point,
support.
her dad and we decided to try to work on it. And so that's what brought me to Arkansas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice. All right.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of a crazy story, but that's how I ended up down here.
Nice. Nice. Well, that's how I ended up Oklahoma. I married a Okie. So yeah.
Yep. It was culture shock moving to the South after, growing up in Nebraska and then living in a ski resort. My first year here, I hated it.
Really?
Oh, I
So
just hated it here.
so I haven't been. I mean, I think I maybe driven through Nebraska, so I don't know a whole lot of. I know it's cold in Nebraska, and I know there's a lot of. So what was the huge? Because I would think that rural Nebraska and stuff, and some of Arkansas wouldn't. What was the big difference? What was the culture shock?
Well, the biggest thing was we moved down here, and at this point, my daughter was 2, I guess.
Okay.
And we had been in Colorado. So we moved down here in the spring and we discover that ticks and mosquitoes. And I had been away from all of that for 6 years.
Okay.
She had never been around it.
Yeah.
And so when she started getting mosquito bites, she would just whelp up. I mean, it was terrible. And, the sounds of summer when you'd go camping, I love them now. But when I moved here and I heard all the bugs at night, it was so loud. You could hear them. You could hear them through the windows. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so loud. Because Colorado was just so peaceful at night.
Yeah.
And people were different. I lived in Little Rock when we first moved here. It wasn't, I wasn't.
You were in the city?
I was in the city.
Okay.
Didn't know a soul.
Yeah.
My family was all over the United States. And so I was here with her dad and, I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
Didn't have a friend, nobody.
Oh, man.
And it was lonely. It was lonely.
That's
So,
tough. That's tough if you're kind of isolated a little bit and trying to figure it out and adapt and that's yeah.
And we were trying to make things work as a young couple and you're broke and there's just so much there was just so much going on. But yeah, when I first moved here, the first year I was here, I was really close to going back to Colorado.
Yeah.
But stayed and made it work and
Nice.
here I am.
Well, here you are, still here. Yeah. So did you were you like I mean, probably just like you said, trying to eke by and live, live life. Were you active? Did you run? Did you do anything? Like, I'd imagine you did some in Colorado a little bit when you could, but like what
Yeah.
when you got to Arkansas, what did you do? What were you do
The
for
funny
fun?
thing is, when I was in Colorado, when I should have been so active, um, I was young out on my own for the first time,
Yeah.
going into clubs and this
Oh,
and that. And
yeah.
I just had a really unhealthy lifestyle,
Mm, yeah.
You'd go to work and then you'd go to the bar
Mm,
and I lived in Colorado for 6 years, and so it wasn't like I was 19 the whole time.
right.
But um we did a lot of hiking, but I didn't do any running until the very last year I was there, right before I had my daughter.
Okay.
And there's many times I've wanted to kick myself for that. I'm just like, oh, what an
Yeah, you were right in
opportunity
the
that I
middle of it too.
blew. I know. But once I moved to Arkansas, then, my daughter was little, and so it was a little bit tougher, but we were always outdoors. We were,
Mm,
always camping, and I would still go hiking, but I didn't get back to running until I guess I had my second daughter.
okay.
And then I had have you heard of Mother's Day Out? Or
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
Mother's Day Out. It's Women Can Run. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's Women Can
okay.
Run.
No, I hadn't heard
It's
of
an
that.
Arkansas thing, but there's
Okay.
a Women Can Run. And so I guess that's kind of how I got back to it. There was one of the high school girls, and she offered to watch my girls so I could go run with these other women for an hour. And I
Yeah.
was just like so thankful at that point,
Yeah.
because I
So
wanted to go run, but I couldn't just leave my babies,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so for 1 hour I would get to go run, and that's how I got started back.
Oh, that's
So,
so cool.
yeah.
So you up until that point you done track, you done, like lesser distances. So
Mhm.
what was well, first of all, I want to point out that there's a 200 miler around right where you used to live around Breck, right? In Summit County.
Mhm.
Okay. just pointing that out because I was thinking about it when you said the Summit. I was like, oh, the Summit 200.
You know, yeah, if I lived up there, I would probably be all over that,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I have realized I'm not very good in altitude with running. I've done
Yeah.
Pikes Peak twice and
Yeah.
I survived,
Yeah.
but and
It-
it may be different now if I went back. I eat a lot more. You learn.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
more you do it, you learn. And I used to think, oh, I'm eating, I'm drinking enough. Oh no, not
Yeah.
even close.
Yeah.
You're in altitude, it's a different story. And
That's what I tell everybody. I love running in Colorado. I still
mhm.
suck at it, but I love it. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll go, hike and run on my own, but I don't know that I would go do a big race. Never say
Yeah,
never, but altitude's just different.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
gotta I gotta work on the flat races.
yeah, yeah. Well. So you started running again, and how did that evolve to? I mean, when was your first like marathon, and then how did that evolve to what you've been up to over the past
Well,
years?
my first marathon was the Little Rock Marathon.
Oh, what a fun marathon too! I love that
It
one.
is. It is. And I'm actually helping this year. I'm going to run with my daughter. She's doing the half for the first time. So I'm really
Nice.
excited to go back. But I'm trying to think what year it was in. I guess it must have been in 16 or 17. I'd done the half marathon a couple of times. And then when I did the full, I decided I'm not going to compete. I'm just going to go have fun.
Did you
And
dress up?
so I didn't dress up, but I stopped whenever somebody was offering a shot or a beer, I would stop and drink a little bit of beer or whatever. And so I thought, okay, the running's not going to work real well. So it wasn't like a fast time, but I had so much fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I finished, I think it was like a week later, or maybe 2 weeks later, there was registration to do Pikes Peak. And my friend said, well, you have a qualifier now. You made it under the limit. And so I was like, okay.
So
Went from Little Rock Marathon to Pikes Peak Marathon
it's a whole
was my
different ball
next
of wax
marathon.
there. Yeah.
And I've never done another road marathon.
Really? So
Nope.
Pikes Peak was your last one? That's
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I still haven't done Pikes Peak. I got a friend, every time he messages me online about something, he's always like, "Hey, Pikes Peak, Pikes Peak." He's like, so what was your first, like trail race?
My first one was David's Trail up at Mountain Home.
Okay. I've heard of
I
it. I
did.
don't remember a whole lot about it though.
Well, we were supposed to have last weekend, I guess, and it got canceled because of the snow.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
when I lived up in Batesville, we would go up there quite a bit to run. And so I haven't ran this race since, I guess, I don't know, maybe 2019.
Okay.
It's been several years since I ran it. And so I was really excited to go back, but that was my first one. I ran the 25K. I took off like I was running a road race. And 10 miles in, I died. And I just remember with like 3 miles left, my calves were cramping up so bad and I was dragging myself down the trail. It was ridiculous. And this lady, I cannot remember her name, but I know at the time I think she was like 58 years old, which I'm not too far from that now. But at the time, boy, she seemed really old to me. She just came bebopping next to me and she's like, "Can I give you anything?" And I was all whiny. I didn't know what I needed. It was
Yeah.
I'd run my whole life, but not that.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
she gave me some salt caps and she's like, "You are really low on electrolytes." She's like, "Promise, just take these and you'll be fine. It'll get you to the finish." And
Yeah.
so I took them and it got me to the finish. I had to walk it in. I couldn't run. I would cramp up. And then when I finished, my feet were cramping up and I couldn't even sit down. I had to walk around for an hour before I could finally sit down. It was so bad.
You did the stereotypical like going from like road stuff to trail, but then you also got to experience like the
And
trail
I ran in a
community.
brand new pair of shoes.
Oh, nice. There you go. Oh, yeah. You
Zero drop. I didn't just go to, yeah, I went to zero drop for my
that's why
first
your
trail.
calves were screaming.
I know.
You jumped on the trail with Ultras, man.
Yep, Lone Peaks. It was
good shoes, but you got to get used to them.
Oh my gosh, just such a newbie mistake. Yeah.
Well,
But
like,
I fell in love with it. I mean,
yeah.
there was no going back to road running after that.
There's just something about it. I still do road races, like marathons for like mostly for training, but man, there's just something about being on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the people, lady
The
stopped
people
and
are so different.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm a talker, which you can tell. I mean, I will talk to anybody. My husband won't even go grocery shopping with me half the time because I talk to everybody.
Why'd
whether
you take
I know
2
them or
hours
not.
to get groceries?
Exactly. But, you're out on the trail and people will talk to you. And, granted, some people are racing. They're like, "All right, got to go." But everybody will talk to you and you're in a road race and it's just different.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody is, but
right.
It's different.
The overall culture is everybody's trying to PR and watching their splits and we're just trying to stay upright on the trails. We're watching our feet, but we got time to talk.
Yeah.
That's good. So what was your first so you did that, you learned some lessons, and what was your first ultra distance?
My first ultra was the Goats 50K in Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
I had, my parents lived there and my dad was sick. And so for like a year and a half, I traveled back and forth to, help mom and dad while he was going through treatments and everything. And on this particular trip, I realized that there was a 50K that weekend. And so I just thought, I'm driving right through town. I mean, it was literally on my way to mom and dad's. So I thought, well, I might as well stop and do a race first and then make it home. So that's what I did.
Nice. Well, how was it? How'd your body respond? Did you learn some lessons? Did you?
Well, at that point, I was a little smarter at training, and I was training for my first 50K was supposed to be Dogwood Canyon.
Okay.
And so at this point, I had been training on lots of hills because it's hilly at Dogwood.
Yeah.
And I had never been there, but friends had told me, get your hill work in. And so I'd been training on a hill quite a bit. So when I went to Nebraska and it was a flatter course, I mean, I was able to just roll with it. And I had a blast. Casey Lichtai was there that day.
Nice.
And I ended up running, gosh, I think almost 20 miles with her mom that day.
That's cool.
We had a really nice conversation. It was fun. And then there was this other guy that I ran. He had never done over like a half marathon.
Yeah.
And so this Matt and I got talking. And by the time we got to the last loop, it was like a 10-mile loop. I was ready to go. Like I felt fantastic. But we'd run basically the whole race together. And so I was like, trying to help him around the loop.
Yeah.
And I mean, it went great. It's to this day, it's still my fastest 5K or 50K, even though it was my first one.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
it would have been faster if, I would have raced it. But I mean, I had so much fun. Loved it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Your body did well. I mean, like your recovery was good and you weren't too beat up or anything? Nice.
No. I was more beat up after Dogwood, just because of the terrain.
Yeah.
But the terrain in Nebraska, it was, I mean, compared to what I'm used to running on, I did really well with that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, you dip your toe in to doing 50Ks. When did you decide to graduate from 50Ks?
Too soon.
Now you're talking to a guy whose first ultra was 100 miles now. So,
yeah. I decided to jump from 50K to 100.
Okay.
And that was, so my first 50K was in, boy, thinking back, I really jumped quick. So my first 50K was October of 18. And my first 100-mile attempt was in June. It was Father's Day at Mohican, in Ohio. In 19.
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't choose a local, one. You said I'm gonna go to Ohio and.
No, I'll tell you why. When my dad was sick, he was always kind of my, I don't know, biggest fan, my motivator, whatever.
Yeah.
And so when he had esophageal cancer, and in the summer of 18, he had a surgery, and we thought he was going to make it through it. Mm-hmm. And he made it through the surgery, but at the end of the year, his cancer came back. Mm. And when I had registered for Mohican, it was on Father's Day. Mm. And I was like, hey, you guys can come watch me race my first 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So, it was a tough year.
Yeah.
It was a tough year. My dad passed away in March of 19, and 2 weeks later was OT 50.
Oh, wow.
And I was signed up, and it was supposed to be kind of a training run for me for Mohican. And I just cried the whole race. Oh. My head was not in it. I had no business. I made it to mile 43 and I dropped.
Really?
Wow. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
It wasn't clicking. So, I thought I got my stuff together and got to Mohican, and I did better. I mean, I handled it really well, but I was not mentally ready for 100 miles.
Yeah.
First of all, at OT that year, it poured. Every race I did in 2019, I think it poured.
You brought the rain
Every
with you.
single race I went to.
It was just a terrible year.
It was just running through trails of water every race I was in that year.
Yeah.
And a friend and I, that he was always with me, we joked about it. We're like, hey, if Mel and Bobby are going to run, it's going to rain. Nice. And so he went with me and my husband to Mohican that year. And it rained like, I don't know, I think they were calling for 4 to 6 inches of rain that night.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up getting, I don't really know, but it was a lot to me.
Yeah.
And first loop went great. Second loop went okay. I was running faster than I should have.
Yeah.
And then I made it to 100K. And I mean, it was just pouring rain, and we're tripping on the roots. You can't even see them because they're underwater.
Yeah. Yeah.
And And mentally, I was such a newbie. I just couldn't take it. We stopped at one of the aid stations and they had one of those emergency blankets. And I told my husband this not too long ago. I said, I wadded up on their little cot and I wrapped myself like a little baked potato and I hid under that thing. And I could hear them talking about me like, we got to get her going. We got to get her going. And I'm like, I am not getting out there in this rain. I just hid under there. And finally they,
I'm gonna think about that every time because so the space blankets. I'll be like, it's baked potato time.
I know. It was so ridiculous.
Oh man,
big learning experience.
It's funny looking back, and so like the runners that I coach, I tell them, we talk about it's going to get tough, and we try to mentally prepare for that, and it's and I've told this story a bunch of times, and I won't reiterate the whole thing, but it's like. You think you think how hard it's going to be and, I'll be able to push through, but then you get there and you're like,
yeah.
I didn't know, or forgot,
Yeah. I mean, I was in really good shape physically.
Yeah.
But mentally, I was just nowhere close to where I needed to be.
Yeah.
And, I made it 200K and, I dealt with that DNF pretty well overall. I know I was a little depressed. But it was my first try and it didn't take me long to try again. So,
so what was the try again? Which one?
Well, the try again, that next year I did Love It was my first one.
All right.
I didn't do it well, but I finished.
Okay. That now, okay. For everybody listening, even we talked about it with I had Jeff Browning on, and we talked about Love It because he smoked the course record. But he talked about it's a tough course, very rocky, and it's got it's got some climbs that are just. I remember yelling at my legs when I did it to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love climbing and I like technical trails.
Yeah.
My problem was, and I don't know if it was nerves. I really don't. This has happened to friends since on their first 100 and then have never really had the whole problem. But I was nauseous from mile 9 on.
Whoa.
I threw up at mile 19 and I barely ate the entire race. I mean, I just was hanging on by a thread and chasing cutoffs the entire race. But I was not going to DNF another 100.
Yeah. So you just had to just grind it out. Like you.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, so.
It was not pretty. There were lots of tears shed. And so this is the year that it was lightning. Okay. Really. And they had to shuttle us across the water. Well, you might have been crewing that year. I can't remember, but they had to shuttle us across.
That
one of the water crossings.
Yeah.
The low water bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it rained the year. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up while we're talking here because I don't remember. I don't remember what year I did it. I'm gonna call it up. But so that race and having that experience like that is so you find out a lot about yourself when you face that adversity or whatever that adversity is. For some people, it's their feet. For some people, it's their stomach. For others, it's just chafing, whatever. And when you make that, like I like what you said, I am not going to DNF again, and you grind it out. So, like, what did you come away with that? Like, what did you learn about Melanie through that?
Well, I learned Melanie can be very stubborn, which I've been accused of most of my life, believe it or not. I heard that.
Your husband heard you back, amen. What?
Well, yes. Yeah, I've heard it from my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, everybody. But, stubbornness can also work to benefit you.
Yeah.
In things like that. And you don't always have it, but that day I had it. I just remembered that feeling of dropping at Mohican. And, the next day I was sore, but I was able to walk. And, there's just so many things that you're like, when you get to experience it, you realize it's just a part of doing the long miles.
Yeah.
And you don't always, it's taken me a few DNFs to realize the difference between an actual injury and just hurting on certain things.
Yeah.
With my stomach, I wasn't injured. I could not move fast. I'd feel better for just a little bit and
Yeah.
I'd get moving, and boy, then I'd have to knock it back, just because my stomach couldn't take it. And I mean, it was a rough 100 miles. It was a rough 100 miles. And I wish I could say that when I finished, I was happy with my finish, but I was so disappointed in myself. And I don't know. I just did not. I wish I could go back and be easier on myself.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
But I guess whether it was being too competitive or just wanting a better experience, I think it was I wanted a better experience.
Yeah.
And so then the next year, I went back and I got that better experience.
Nice. Well, so tell me what the experience was. So that was, so I ran it in 21, and so it was the next year. Yeah. And so, what was different?
I just decided I was just going to run happy. I mean,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I wanted to have fun. I wanted to enjoy the aid stations. I wanted to enjoy seeing my friends. I wanted to enjoy my pacers. I mean, I didn't even get to really enjoy my pacers because I was so miserable. I made them miserable the first time. And the second time may not have been any better. I don't know, but I felt better. I had more fun. So that year it was really cold. And that's the year the burning log. Do you remember that?
So that was
it was up on Bear Mountain.
So that was
on
21, or was that?
That was 21, because I know it was my second year.
Okay. I don't remember that.
Huh. You missed it.
I must have missed it. I was because I was competing on that one.
Well, I know you were competing because I remember you had turned around. I was coming up there to get to Brady, and I passed you. I think I was 2 miles from getting to Brady. You had gone to turnaround already, and we passed up on the top of that ridge.
Oh, really?
About 1.5 miles or 2 miles. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have so far to go, and he's already. I was like, hi, David, good job.
I know those out and backs can be good, but they can also be like, okay.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides of that.
Yeah. When you realize how far ahead people are of you, it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, but it's really fun to get to see people.
Yeah.
And getting to say hi, because other races, you're not going to get to see anybody. So, yeah.
You probably, like me, spent so much time at some races in no man's land or no woman's land, where you just like, just by yourself. Yeah, you're in that gap between other people, and you just got to figure it out yourself and go.
Yep.
Well, I love that race. I love that course. I commend it to anybody that wants to do it. I still love the tagline, ankles of steel and an iron will, for it. And because there's rocks and they're usually hidden by a lot of leaves and stuff. So you gotta be careful. Yeah. And it used to do when we did it, it was the Friday night start.
Right. And I haven't been able to run it since they changed it. I took over Hickory Nut Aid Station.
Yeah.
And so, I'm up there all weekend, and it's fun. And now I get to see everybody 3 times, which, the first, we see them at mile 4.
Okay.
And then we see them when they come up. They have to come back up to the top. I think it's like mile 63 or 64 or something like that.
Okay.
And then they go do the Joplin Loop.
Yeah.
That used to be the first.
That's
so
right.
That's how they end it.
It's the opposite
Mhm.
it's the big loop or the big out and back, and then the
Right.
loop. Okay, I
Right.
forgot about that. I forgot it's done a different way now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
you're
then
out there like,
yeah, and I can't camp at the top, and so,
yeah,
I had to stay down at Mountain Harbor and then drive up, and I had my husband and friends help me set up that morning quick,
yeah, yeah.
and now it's not just 100 milers, it's the 100 Kers and the 100 milers at the same time at mile
Y-
4.
Oh
And
gosh,
so,
yeah,
I would love to have more food, but there's just for that breakfast, there's enough food 3 miles down at
yeah,
the next aid
yeah,
station. And
yeah,
so we just kind of have snacky stuff, but trying to check in numbers with everybody coming up the hill at one time.
yeah.
People come up and want to, hey, Mal, and want to hug me. And I'm like, can't,
Yeah,
sorry.
yes,
You
yeah.
know,
It's business.
yeah.
I got to handle.
So if I miss a number when they're coming up the hill, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah. Well,
So,
what's good is later in the race, when it as the race starts panning out and stuff, mile 16 and later, you can spend more time encouraging and nurturing
yeah.
people.
Right. And at night, I mean, it's cold and it's tough sitting up there, but when they pass on the second and third time, we do get to spend that time and, give them the good hot food and take care of emotions and feet and
Yeah, all the
dress them
things.
properly and all the things.
Well,
So,
what's good about you've been on the other side, and so
mhm,
I laugh when I go. So the school I work for, I get to go to their cross country meets and stuff, and I see them running with that look on their face,
mhm,
when they're in that pain cave, and I was like, I know that look, like I've run many
mhm.
miles with that, and I'm just like, dig deep, let's go,
Yeah.
but you get to you see the other side of it, and you have some sympathy, some empathy, because
Mhm.
you've been there, and you
Yeah.
can kind of know what they need to hear. And
Yeah. I think everybody needs to volunteer. If you're going to run 100 miles, I think everybody needs to work an aid station
hmm
at some point where you're going to get to witness that and help and
yeah,
stand around out in the cold or the rain or whatever and it's just a completely different experience.
yeah,
um and it makes you just as happy,
hmm
just in a different way. I
yeah,
mean, it's very fulfilling to do it. And
yeah,
at some point I do hope that I can maybe race again, do love it,
yeah,
but, for now,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna put
Nice.
in my time and
Yeah,
yeah, help
help
out.
out, and yeah, that's right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And I always tell, the runners that I coach, man, even if you feel like garbage, make sure you say thank you when you go into the
Mhm.
aid stations. It helps you, but man, those people are out there in that
Mhm.
whatever, and to help you. And so, tell them thank you.
Yeah.
Tell them
Well,
you're
and
glad
I've
they're there.
realized the Arkansas, uh, trail running community, our aid stations are so much better than a lot of these races out of state.
Yeah.
You get there, and when you get to an aid station and you have no food options, you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't ran other races, you just don't see the difference from uh, all
Yeah.
the choices you have at, Arkansas Traveler
hmm
or at Love It. It's just a
Yeah.
different setup altogether.
I've been to some, and they use they use they use the excuse like, I paid the same for this race, but they say, it's kind of a old school or whatever. It's like, no, man, we need
Hmm.
food. Like,
Well, and you maybe haven't got to experience this, maybe you have, but me being a middle to way back of the packer, um, I can't tell you how many races we've been to that I've raced some, but then I've crewed and paced for a lot of friends over the past 2 years. And if you are at the tail end, if you're the last one or within the last, few people coming in, there's a lot of things gone all the
yeah.
time.
Mm,
You don't
that's
get watermelon when it's hot. The watermelon
oh
is all
no.
gone. And
That's
oh, I look forward to watermelon and I can't, it's just so frustrating. And then, you know, we had, I I paced for a friend for a race this year, and when we got to every aid station, there was no hot food, and it was rainy all night, and it was a really tough race, and they're like, well, all the other runners, had it, and I'm like, But we really need
I just want some ramen,
just
just some
want
hot
some broth.
ramen,
I
something.
know. And I was just a pacer. I
Yeah,
mean, and so
Oh,
I'm like, okay, zip it, Melanie.
yeah,
Thank you for the crackers. I'll go on my way and hope the next aid station has some. So
yeah,
yeah, that is my big goal at Love It. You know,
yeah,
every year I try to make sure, you know, I kind of get on my people and I hope nobody gets offended, but I don't want to serve cold broth. You know,
yeah,
I don't want to
yeah,
serve cold pizza. I'm going to
yeah,
have hot food when people
mm,
come through.
yeah.
And
You need that. At 2
it's
o'clock in
just
the morning
important.
and it's cold.
Hmm.
Man, that 29-cent ramen
Hmm.
tastes amazing.
It does. It does.
Nice and hot and
That's one of, yeah, ramen and potato soup are my go-tos. So,
yeah. Oh, potato soup. Yeah, good potato
hmm,
soup. Oh, it's so good. Or
yep,
you just mix the chicken broth in mashed potatoes and make your own potato
yeah,
soup if you need to. Oh,
yes,
yeah, that's good.
yeah. And you know, we're getting stuff for Love It, and I told the lady that's buying stuff, I said, don't get me any of these cube broth because I use the paste that tastes really good.
Yeah. Oh,
Can't
okay.
remember the brand it is, but
Is it better than bouillon?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the
We use that
paste.
at home.
Yeah, and so that's what I use at my aid
Oh,
station
the good
because I want
stuff.
it to be. I use the good stuff.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Everybody hear that? If you run and love it.
yep, yep. You're getting the good broth.
That's
So
good. Oh,
yeah.
well, so you've done, so what other races, have you done, big races have you done since that year, at Love It?
Well, not a lot. Um, and we'll get to that. I'll tell you why. Um, I guess the last one, I tried Traveler, not in, I guess it was 24. Well, no, let's go back a little bit further. In 23, I signed up for Cowboy.
Okay.
Can't believe I was going to skip over that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I signed up for Cowboy, um, because it starts in my hometown
Oh,
where I grew up, you know, doing
I
family
didn't realize.
reunions. My grandmother, they lived in Norfolk. You know, that was our town to go cruise Maine when I was in high school.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
first aid station is Battle Creek, and that's my hometown. That's my little town that was less than 1,000 people to this day. There's
Oh.
still no stoplight. Um, there's not. It's
Yeah.
just a little tiny town. Um, we played basketball and ran track and volleyball, and all of our childhood we spent in these towns along the Cowboy Trail.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yeah.
How
And
cool is
so for
that?
me, it's a very personal race for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah, you
um,
kind of had to sign up.
I know. I did. So I ended up going with had a couple other friends from Hot Springs that went. There was three other guys that went, Steve, Jason, and James, which I
Yeah.
run a lot of miles with them.
Yeah.
Um, not a lot of training, but in races we kind of end up together or whatever.
Yeah.
And we went, and you know, I showed them around my town and this and that. And it started out really fun. I ended up having to drop at, I think it was mile 80. I don't know. I think the aid station was 86, and I ended up going a little ways, and I ended up dropping.
Mm,
I did not know it at the time. I was just in tremendous pain
mm.
from like it started at mile 50. We were out on this detour. They had some bridges out, and so they had a couple of detours that were like 26 miles apart between aid stations,
Oh,
and
wow.
they'd have like a water station out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, it's 85 degrees. You're out in full sun. There's
Yeah.
nowhere to go.
Yeah. There's no shade.
And
No. Yeah.
no, no. And I felt really good overall, but my calf started just feeling really tight, or I
Mm,
thought it was my calf. And that was about mile 50. And my friend James was with me. And so we just kind of kept moving at an easy pace together. And um, I think at 64, we got to the next aid station, and I was just, my calf was getting tighter and tighter. And I was like, I'm going to sleep a little bit, sleep this off, you know, get off my leg and see if it feels better.
yeah.
Got up hour and a half later, should have slept longer. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know going into these 200s
Oh, it's so hard.
how,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I look back at everything we all learned and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But, so we get up and we're going, I think it was another 20 some miles, this next aid station as well. And this was at night, and I maybe got a mile and a half or 2 miles in, and it started getting tight again. And as we went on, it got so bad, and my hips started really hurting, and my hamstring and my calf all the way down to my feet, by the time we got, I don't know, I think that section was maybe 24 miles or something like this. And every time I'd get to a bridge, I'd stop and I'd tell my pacer, I'm like, I got to put my feet up. My leg is just killing me.
Yeah.
And so I'd stop at a bridge and, put my feet up
Good
for
yeah.
a little bit, and we'd get going again. And it kept getting worse and worse. And then finally, I think when we had a couple miles left, it started just shooting across my hips because I was compensating so much
Yeah.
for that leg. And it was just every step was so painful. And it was just not the experience I was wanting. I was
Yeah, no
so
kidding.
angry. I was so angry
Yeah.
because I was just like, this is not how it's supposed to be. This was not supposed to be what my race is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tears are coming. Well, then it starts raining and I'm like, can it get any worse?
Yeah. You're having a pity festival. It's like
huge pity festival. My poor pacer. He said I'd go 1/10 of a mile and I'd say, "Are we there yet?" And he was like, "No, Melanie, we've gone 1/10 of a mile." And I did this for 2 miles or something like that. I don't know, but we got there, and of course I was just beside myself when I got into the aid station.
Yeah.
I pretty much knew my race was over. I didn't really know what was wrong. I just knew it was so painful. I was like, it was mile 86 where the aid station was, and I was like, how on earth am I going to do another, 115 miles like this?
Yeah.
And so laid down and slept, and I had pretty much like told him, I'm done. I'm done. Again, I covered my head and just had my little pity party, and I fell asleep. The guys all got up and left, and my friend Tammy was there with me, and she's like, do you want to give it one more try? She's like, you've come a long way. You worked really hard. And so she talked me into like, okay, let's give it one more try.
Yeah.
So I got up and she had massaged, back there, and it just hurt so bad. And as we're leaving the aid station, Jim's with me again, and he looks down at my knee and he's like, boy, you got a big knot behind your knee. And I'm like, I do.
Huh.
And I had pants on. I was just emotionally a mess. I hadn't even really looked. It felt like it was my calf to me. Yeah. And so we get, I don't know, 1.5 miles, 2 miles. And I was just like, I'm done. I cannot do this for, so I ended up dropping. At one of the aid stations, there was a nurse there, and she's like, I think it's a Baker's cyst. She's like, I don't know that, but she said, by everything you're telling me, she said, it might be a Baker's cyst, and there's a possibility that it might have ruptured. Well, so I dropped the race, but our 3 guys are still going.
Yeah.
And, we came a long way. I'm not going to sit there and just cry.
Yeah.
I mean, I cried on the side.
Yeah.
I tried not, but I was trying to cheer them on and, help them do whatever. So one of the guys, they got to sleep on my mat and all that stuff. And let's just say that I was a little more prepared than they were. So they got to use a lot of my gear. They got to use my pacers and my crew, and it all worked out in the end. All 3 of them finished, and I learned so much just watching them and getting to help finish it. Very devastated though.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I got back, I didn't do it right away, I don't think, but I went and I'd never had an MRI before. I'd never had a big injury like this. I'd turned ankles my entire life, never had anything like this at all, that I just didn't know what it was. So I went and got an MRI, and they're like, yeah, I mean, you had a Baker cyst and it ruptured.
Huh.
And I don't really know. To this day, I really don't know much about it, but for 6 months, oh my gosh, it just gave me such trouble. And it was kind of the start of neuropathy in my feet.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I don't know if it was, because of that, but ever since then, you
Yeah.
know, I've had big issues with neuropathy in my feet. And I'm just like, oh.
So,
So on top of all that, then the big part of why I really haven't raced since then much is um, my hormones just completely bottomed out. And so not only was I depressed from DNFing, a race I'd trained really hard for, and that
yeah.
meant so much to me.
Yeah.
I was in the best shape of my life, and I couldn't run for 6 months. I couldn't even walk. It hurt. It just would not heal.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's
It was just kind of I spiraled after that.
yeah.
I didn't want to run. I
Mm.
was depressed, and I'm not a person that's ever dealt with depression.
Yeah.
And you just, I don't know, you put so much effort into something, and that kind of becomes who you are. It shouldn't be that way,
Right.
but sometimes we turn it into that.
Yeah.
So
And that's kind of we I shared on the thing midweek motivation how
mhm,
at that men's retreat everybody, oh, the ultra running guy, the running guy, the running. I was like,
mhm.
can I just be a dude? Like, can I just be you know
I listened to that one. I loved it. I loved it.
well, and I just I think it's just a reminder of it's what we do, but we're more than that, and
Yeah.
because if we put everything into that, when that get taken away, and it does sometime, or even for a
Mhm,
period of time, then we're kind of stuck in a like, hmm, who
mhm.
who am I? Like,
Who am I?
yeah, and
Yeah.
and from a I shared on that from perspective, like I'm a Christian. I'm a son of God. I have worth no matter what I do, and I am His, and but I'm on here I'm also a father, and a husband, and I have and there's worth in all of that, and it's so it's separating those things. Sure, we can miss it, and miss that, but there's so much more there also, and we
Mhm.
can use those seasons. I love that you're you know working, doing aid station, helping others, do like you just pivoted, and you're being there for others while you can't do what you want. And that's something else I say a lot: when you can't do what you want to do what you can, you know
Yeah.
and
Well, I moped for a long time. I mean, I moped for 6 months after
mm,
that.
yeah.
And and then I was finally like, you've got to pick yourself up
Yeah, yeah,
and get over this. And I don't know. I still don't really know how to explain it.
yeah,
Um, but it all worked out.
yeah, yeah.
I did a lot of self-reflection
Yeah.
and realized a lot of things about myself, and I had to, reprioritize or what?
Reprioritize. Yeah.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good.
Yeah. You know, I had been running so much, and my husband, bless him, he's so good at, if he knows I'm training for something, he's like, well, I know you got to go run. I know you're tired. Just go do it. If you get started, you'll feel better after that. And he was so good, but I know that summer he was he was tired of me training. He was just
Mm,
like, you were tired all the time,
yeah, yeah,
And so at that point I was like, okay, I'm going to spend some time with my husband.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, yeah.
That's and I think we can take those negative, bad experiences, and
Mhm.
just kind of, okay, I need to evaluate some things and maybe,
Mhm.
focus on some other things. Cause I do believe, I believe everything happens for a reason, and we
I
might not
do
like it.
too.
But it'll cause us to refocus and focus on the most important things in our lives,
Mhm.
um, it's just, uh, sometimes we don't like it a lot of times at first, it stinks because we got plans and want to do
Uh-huh.
things.
Yeah, and my mom would call me, a big part of this. I should back up again. When all this happened, we had moved in 2021 down to Hot Springs. And so, we built a house and we were doing all this stuff. So I didn't, other than my running friends, I didn't have a lot of friends.
Mm,
And then I had a part-time job while we were building our house. So at
okay.
the same time that I got injured from this race, I was um, looking for a different job, like a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
and which was very stressful when you don't know anybody here.
Yeah.
And I had no hormones. So I was an emotional wreck about everything.
Yeah.
And my mom would call and check on me. She's like, "Well, Melanie, I'm praying for you." And I knew she was.
Yeah.
And, she's like, "You just need to, get in your Bible and, just you need to trust that God's going to straighten this out and he's going to find you what you need." And, he did. It
Yeah.
wasn't in my time,
Yeah.
but going through the injury and looking for a job and being depressed and not having energy to go do anything.
Yeah.
It was just so much. And yeah, I mean, I did, I got my Bible and I just kind of realized like, I looked back at my races and I thought, I told myself before the race when I was struggling, I was going to go to God and say, "Okay, I need your strength." Did I do it? No. I
Yeah.
was in that race and I was poor, pitiful me. I trained so hard.
Yeah.
I put in so many hours and,
Mm,
I told you about that.
yeah.
I realized I need to get rid of that I and, refocus.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's good. I well, and a couple of reminders to everybody listening, like you don't know what people are going through,
mhm,
some people share a lot online on Facebook and stuff, which is fine, when their struggles and stuff, but some people just kind of silently, just kind of are going through some things, and
mhm.
check on your people.
Yeah.
you know
And,
yeah.
I did have friends that they would call and they text and,
Yeah.
and that's, I guess, is kind of what got me back into just volunteering and pacing for friends.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, I can still help somebody else even if I can't,
Yeah.
run or even if I can't run more than 20 or 30 miles.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, so and if you don't have to share, but for the ladies like listening and stuff who end up going through
Hmm.
things with hormones and stuff, were you able to get that straight or get some help with that, medically or
Well,
anything?
I didn't do anything right away. I went through menopause in my 30s naturally.
Wow.
I don't know why so early. My
Wow.
mom did not, but I did, and I never did anything about it.
Mm,
So at the time of this race, I was 50, and so at that point, you know, my levels were just non-existent.
yeah.
I really don't even know how I was running at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that race and the stress of everything I went through de- depleted them even more.
Yeah.
Um, but by the time I finally decided I had to figure out what was going on, I had told friends for 2 years before this, I said, something's going on. I could feel my muscle mass was gone.
Yeah.
I've always been pretty strong and I
Yeah.
could just feel something was different for 2 years, but I never took the time to do anything
Mm,
about it,
yeah.
doing too many other things.
Yeah.
And so finally I decided I'm going to go get blood work. And she's like, wow, they're not there at all. And so I
Wow.
started from nothing and I decided, cancer runs in our family, which is how my dad passed away.
Mm,
Um, there's many types of cancer. And so that's why for years and years, I was afraid of doing anything about it to get on hormone medicine because you hear all these negative things.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm miserable.
Yeah.
And my
What
dad
kind of
was one of
life?
the healthiest. What kind of life is this? My
Yeah.
dad was one of the healthiest people in the world, and he still got cancer. So at
Yeah.
that point, I was like, you know what? It's a toss up either way. I'm like, seriously, I was.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, I want to live my life, however long it is, doing the things I love, and I want to
Mm,
be happy and I want to enjoy my life.
yeah.
And so, long story short, I'll shorten it because I know it's long. Got on medicine, and it's been over a year. Um, but every time I would get running and get my mileage up, my levels would drop down again.
Mm, yeah.
And so we're working to get them up.
Yeah.
I am actually signed up to do Rocky Raccoon this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got 2 runners running it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it how about one of the ones I ran with it at Traveler?
No,
No.
no, I
Okay.
don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm signed up to do it. And
Okay.
of course, I signed up to do Cowboy 200 in September.
Yeah.
And so for me, my friend James, when he asked me to sign up for Rocky Raccoon, he's like, well, they're sold out. Let's just get on the waiting list and see if we get in. So I was like, sure, I'll get on the waiting list. Probably never give in. That'll give me enough time to chicken out and say, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So we got on the waiting list, and literally, I think it was the next day or possibly 2 days later, we both got off the waiting list and we got in. And I'm just like, man, that didn't even give me time to
Think of an excuse.
think of an excuse. Exactly. So I am excited to run it. A big part of why I wanted to do it was I need to see how my body can do with these miles.
Yeah.
And try to get this straightened out by Cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I can't do 100, I can't do 200.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how has
And
training going for Rocky?
it's been going really well.
Good.
I did some, I paced a friend at Spirit of Silamo.
Okay.
And after that, my knee started bothering me for the first time in
Huh.
like a year. And I think it was all there was lots of
There's a lot of
elevation out
climbing.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of climbing.
Yep.
Now.
And then
Yeah.
right after that, we had a couple of weeks, and then we did ABF.
Okay.
You've done that, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
No? Oh,
Yeah. No,
okay.
I haven't.
Well, it's 27 miles. I think it was like 7,800 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
And I was concerned about doing that because my knee was bothering me. But I put my knee brace on, and I'm like, I've been running, and it's bothering me, but it's not making it worse. And I made it through, and I had a great race. And then
Nice.
I've been out at Lovett, and I've been running, and it's been fine. It's gotten better each week. And the last week and a half I've run, I have not felt it. So
Nice. Well, the good thing
it's
is
cutting it
Rocky's
kind of close.
not a crazy climbing race or anything, just
Right.
watch the roots.
Yeah. Yeah. And, my biggest thing is I just want to finish. I want to know I can do the miles.
Yeah.
I've paced friends enough this year that I've got that slow pacing. I can pace pretty good. I just got to,
You
not
gotta
get too
set
excited.
your own pace.
I do.
Yeah.
And not get too excited. So
Well,
I'm hoping it goes well.
Yeah, I'll pray that you have a good race,
Thank
that you get out there and just have a good experience, and just run with gratitude that you get to
Yes.
be out there and get it done. That'd be good.
That's what I need. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Melanie, I thanks so much for jumping on and visiting and just sharing your story. I love a comeback. So, I've had to do a few myself. And next weekend, get it.
Yep. Well, that song will be playing.
All right.
It's a little theme song going through my head when I run. So I know I'm not the only one that does it, but yeah, I'm excited.
Well,
So
good,
thank you for
good.
having me. I've enjoyed
Well,
it.
thanks so much, and hope to see you on the trail soon.
Yeah.
I'd like to get back at Lovett. I've got a few other races I got to get done and do, but I gotta get back to Arkansas and do some races. It's been a little
Well,
while, so.
go visit your parents, and then you have no excuse.
Well, that's true. That's true. Because every time I go over there, I can like, all right, where am I going to run? I got some cool
Yes.
trails to run. So,
Yeah. Well, I actually have a daughter in Oklahoma City now.
oh,
So,
really? Okay.
yeah. Yep. She's been out there for a year. So I make that trip every now and then.
Nice. Do you
So,
pass through Tulsa?
yep. No, I come up from the south.
Oh,
But
that's right.
what
That's right. Okay.
is it Lake? Is it Vian or Vine or what is it?
Oh, yeah, Vian. Yeah.
Yeah, I go right past there, and so there's been several times I've wanted to stop there and go run and
Run up
get a hold of Isaac or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Hey,
run up
you
the
want some
mountain.
miles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he'd love that.
yeah. Oh, I know he would.
Yeah.
So
Well, enjoy your taper this week, and I'll be watching. I think
okay.
this podcast will actually probably come out while you're running, Rocky. So,
Oh,
so everybody, if you're listening to it on the Saturday when this comes out, say a prayer for Melanie, and
yes.
send
If you
send
see
some
me
prayers her way.
loafing in an aid station,
Yeah.
say, Melanie, come on, I'm praying for you. Let's go.
That's right. Kick her butt out.
That's right.
Oh, well, so good to visit with you, Melanie, and
You too.
we'll visit again soon. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, David. I appreciate it.
All right.
Took a little time just to find my pace. Clear the noise, put my mind in place. I had to slow down just to see the road. Now I'm back with a fire ready to explode. Rest isn't quitting, it's strength rebuild. New horizon rising on the dreams I built. Feet on the ground, heart burning bright. Ready for the push, ready for the fight. I'm making a comeback. Watch me rise from the lowest valley to the mountain skies. Every mile I run, every beat, every song. This is the moment. I'm coming back strong. Yeah, I'm coming back strong. Found my purpose in the quiet days. Hope got louder in a brand new way. Yeah, sometimes slowing down makes you see the truth. I'm stepping out stronger with a renewed view. Every lesson turned into fuel inside. Every heartbeat picking up the stride. So here I stand with my eyes ahead. The fire's lit, enough been said. I'm making a comeback. Watch me rise from the lowest valley to the mountain skies. Every mile I run, every breath, every song. This is my moment. I'm coming back strong. Yeah, I'm coming back strong. The road gets dark, but I know the way. The fight in my bones won't fade away. Sun will rise, I'll greet the dawn. I'm not done yet, I'm still moving on. I'm making a comeback. Watch me rise from the lowest valley to the mountain sky. Every mile